Hey guys, Milan Tech Sales here. Welcome back to another vlog. So today I'm going to talk about why leaving where you grew up or leaving your hometown could be the single biggest thing that you do to put yourself on a trajectory to massive success. Okay? 99% of young guys that are broke, miserable, and depressed and don't have the life that they want, they are living in the exact same place that they grew up in, a small town, in a village, in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to talk about why you have to, it's not an option, you have to leave your parents' house, you have to leave your hometown, you have to leave that little village that you grew up in and move to a bigger city for a better life. Okay, so the problem is, especially in the South Asian community, right? I'm South Asian, Muslim guy in my late 20s, and 99% of South Asian Muslim guys in the Pakistani community, Indian community, Bangladeshi community, or most of these countries in the UK, they grow up either in some part of London or some part of the West Midlands or up north in the UK, like Leeds or Manchester or whatever, or Birmingham. I'm from Birmingham, and a lot of them, they go to school in Birmingham or Leeds or Manchester. They get their first little job in that city. They go to university in that city. They go to school in that city. They go to college in that city. All their friends are in that city. They never leave. They never travel. And they get stuck in a rut in the same shitty city that they live in. Okay? And in my opinion, there are a few problems with living in a shitty city like Birmingham, like Leeds, like Manchester, or a random village in the middle of nowhere in Scotland or Wales. And not living in a major city like London, like New York, like Dubai, like Vancouver, basically a financial hub of the world. You have to live in a financial hub of the world to make it big time, okay? And I'm going to be looking at my notes at the same time because I want to make this a very, very good video for you guys to watch. So the first thing about living in the same place that you grew up in is that that's your comfort zone, okay? If you're going to stay where you were born and where you grew up for the rest of your life, you're literally in your comfort zone. You have the same little friends, your family is there to take care of you, you don't have that much expenses, your mindset is in a scarcity mode, especially if you're not already financially successful. So you're in a scarce mindset because your bills are paid for, you have the same friends, you don't have to put yourself out there, you don't have to work hard socially or financially to really make up for the fact that you have really big bills or the fact that you don't have any friends in a new city, and that's keeping you in a comfort zone. Most people that are super successful, highly successful, they are never in their comfort zone. They are always pushing the barrier. They're always pushing for the next big thing. The second problem with living in a small or shit city like Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, or any city outside of London, central London, in the UK, is that 99.99999% of people in these shit cities are making 20, 30, 40K a year. And they make that kind of salary for the rest of their lives. That's really bad, okay? You can't be making 20, 30, 40K a year in the UK in 2025. If you are, you're screwed, okay? I'm not gonna dive into the maths of why you're screwed. You should use your own brain for that, okay? But what happens is when you live in a city where everyone's making 20, 30, 40K a year and the richest guy is making 45K a year, is that's what you look up to. You look up to people that are making 35, 40K a year. And you have that same broke, scarce mindset that everyone else in that city have. You become the average of the 5 people they hang out with the most. Okay, I'm sure you've heard that self-development saying that that whoever you hang out the most with, you become like them. Okay, and then the final problem is that the social circles that you're going to have in these random cities or random towns and villages are not going to be with the people that you want to be with, right? And so this is obviously for young men that are extremely motivated, extremely inspired, extremely passionate about business, about getting rich, successful, having incredible lives, becoming leaders, becoming popular, becoming winners, winning life, right? This is not for the average guy that wants to stay stuck in a 30K a year job in some random fucking village in the middle of nowhere. This is not for you. This is only for people like me that are extremely motivated, the 0.1% of guys that are really hungry for success in every aspect of their life. So the last part is, if you stay in that same little village, so what will happen is everyone will be broke, depressed, anxious. They will all have scarce mindsets, scarcity thinking, and you will be like them as well. Okay, so those are the three main problems with living in the same little random shitty town that you've grown up in. Now, let me tell you my experience. So I came from Afghanistan in 2007 to the UK as immigrants with my family, and my dad decided to move to a town called Walsall, which is near Birmingham. So I don't know if you know much about Walsall or Birmingham, right? But if you Google what Walsall is like, or what Birmingham is like, it's literally one of the worst places to live in the UK. When I say one of the worst places to live in the UK, it's on the matter of financial. So very few people make really good salaries there. The crime rate is pretty bad. There's a lot of homelessness. It's a very dirty city. A lot of drug use, a lot of drug dealers. A lot of bad shit happen in these towns and cities, right? And there's a lot of there's a lot of bad schools. A lot of people that go to schools in these areas don't really end up doing really well. There are quite a few universities in Birmingham, but a lot of the universities are not very good, very bad rated universities. So what happened to me was I went to a really bad school. 99% of people that went to that high school were, bad kids. They didn't do exams properly. They never showed up on time. They used to be smoking, drinking. They never studied hard. And now they're all making 20K a year, 30 or 29, and they're fucked for life, right? So that's the kind of school that I went, right? And I knew that living in that same town was the wrong thing to do because I was very, very inspired and motivated to be financially successful. So when I finished school and I went to university, I decided to go to Coventry University, which was just as bad, right? Like it was just as bad. But when I finished Coventry University, my best friend at the time told me, let's move to London, to central London. Because again, if you live in the UK, the only city that matters if you're motivated and inspired and passionate and you want to be financially successful is London, right? So we decided to move to London basically the year after we graduated university. And literally everything changed for me. Everything in my life changed for me 360. I got a job that paid me over 100K a year. I did my master's at one of the best universities in the world. I made friends that were like-minded, that wanted to be successful, that were very entrepreneurial. I made friends with millionaires, billionaires, entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, people that were similar to me, who had the same aspirations, same motivations, same goals as me. My roommate in London was a guy who was 24 working at Goldman Sachs. He used to get job interviews for $400,000 a year. My other roommate, my best friend, raised over $1.5 million for his business. He literally built a $40 million valued business in front of my eyes in 2 years. I got accepted into Antler, the equivalent of Y Combinator in the UK, and I almost created my own VC-backed AI company as well. So all of these things happened to me and happened for me because I decided to leave my comfort, to leave my hometown, to leave a place where it didn't really align with me. It didn't align with my goals. No one there was motivated. Very few people were successful. Very few people had good jobs, full of crime, full of just scarce thinking. And I knew that even though it was going to be a huge financial burden for me to move to a bigger, better city, I knew that it was the only option, and it all worked out. So if you're in a place right now where you're thinking about moving, you're in a place right now where you're living in a random city, random town, or a village in the middle of nowhere in the UK, you only have one, and your goal is to be financially successful. Your only goal should be to move to London as soon as you possibly can, okay? And here's how I would actually go about doing it. So the first step is obviously to choose a city. In this case, you choose London, right? Then you want to pick an area in London that is safe, that has a lot of people that are similar to you or similar goals to you. So if you're in your early 20s, you want to be in a town in London that has a lot of young working professionals. You could be looking at £2,000 to £3,000 a month in rent. So you either should have enough savings or a job that's going to pay you that much, or a business where you're taking out that much in salary to pay for that rent, and then you're looking at an extra £1,000 a month on lifestyle and general expenses. So you could be spending around $4,000 a month. So think about how you're going to save for that. Okay. So step one, pick a city, in this case, London. Step two, pick where you're going to live. Step three, budget it out. So you could be spending anywhere between £2,000 to £4,000 a month just to live and have like a average lifestyle. But I promise you that the minute you move to a major city like this, where billionaires live, where multimillionaires live, where the next big tech companies are created, where the biggest banks on the planet are, where some of the best universities in the world are, everyone that you speak to, everyone that you'll meet are going to be a lot more motivated, a lot more inspired, a lot more hungry, a lot more passionate, a lot better people to hang out with. You see what happens, and I know this because my wife tells me this, in a lot of these shitty little towns like Leeds, or cities like Leeds or Birmingham and Manchester, a lot of people are not just scarce thinking, they're also negative people. So I remember being in London and telling everyone about my incredibly genius tech idea, and everyone would just motivate me. They would be like, how can I help you? I can put you in touch with this person, I can put you in touch with this person, I can put you in touch with this VC investor, I can even give you money to start your business. And when I would tell people about my idea in Manchester or Leeds or Birmingham, when I used to travel to see family, people would be like, hang on a second, that's never going to work. Why would people buy your product? Why would people invest in your business? Who do you think you are? Why are you doing this? Why don't you get a job, bro? Why don't you go and get a 9-to-5 job, bro? Why are you quitting your job to start a business, bro? Right? So it's not just the fact that people are really shit in these cities, is that they're also super negative. They have crazy scarcity thinking, and it's not their fault, by the way. It's also because of the infrastructure in these random cities like Birmingham and Manchester and Leeds. A lot of these councils, like the Birmingham Council, is actually bankrupt. So a lot of people have really bad jobs, really bad salaries. There's a lot of bad infrastructure. So it's not just them, it's also because of the environment. So if you live in these cities, not only will you miss out on massive opportunities to change your life in a major city like London or New York or whatever, you will also always be in an anxious, depressed, negative mindset, because everyone around you will be very negative about your ideas, about your goals, about your motivations, about your interests, about your passions. And therefore, it's of utmost importance to pack your bags and get the hell out. Okay? Get the hell out. Do whatever it takes. Now, obviously, when you do move out, make sure that you have a contingency plan, right? So if things don't work out in a major city for you and you're spending a couple of grand a month, make sure you have enough savings. Make sure you have a really good job. Make sure you have a business that's consistently making you money. Don't just move out and stop partying or going clubbing or chasing girls. Then obviously you want to go all in on networking, on building your social circle, on going to good places to find out about new opportunities. Because, by the way, just because you move to a bigger city doesn't mean automatically you become a winner. You can still be a massive loser. Anyway, to summarize what I've said in this video is, if you're living in a city or a town or a village that has no economic advantages or doesn't align with the goals that you have as a young guy who wants to be extremely successful, you need to make a plan and get the hell out and move to a major city. Choose where you want to live. Choose which city you want to live in. Choose which city you want to live. Choose the town that you want to live in. Budget it out and create a step-by-step goal to move out in the next 6 to 12 months, because otherwise you're going to be screwed over. Like I mentioned, when I lived in Walsall with my family, very few people were like me. Very few people were similar to me, had the same goals as me. And the minute I moved to London, pretty much 99% of people were similar to me, similar goals, similar mindsets. And pretty much everyone there was successful. Everyone was either making multiple six figures or up to 100K, or they were multimillionaires already, or they were rich kids from different countries. And everyone was just a lot more happier and a lot more inspired and motivated. But having said that, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Please subscribe and put the notifications on to be notified.